Speaking of scientists, we have three rock star guests who are joining me today. We have members of the Landsat Communications and Public Engagement team at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center, Allison Nussbaum, Ross Walter, and Ginger Butcher. They have all been involved with a popular new Landsat Outreach web app, which is very, very exciting. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your very busy schedules to talk with me today. How are you all doing today?
Good. How are
Well,
you?
wow.
I'm doing great, thanks. Well, the weather is beautiful, so I hope that all of you got to enjoy the nice weather this past weekend. So, and I think, as we all can agree, as we always say, it is a great day at SSAI. Am I correct?
That's
Absolutely.
right.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, like I said, I really appreciate you all joining me here today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you all a series of questions in relation to the Landsat web app that was recently released. So first of all, I just wanted to say congratulations, first off, to you three with your involvement in it. That is such an incredible achievement. But to start off, my first question I wanted to ask you all was to please tell the audience about yourself and describe your projects you have worked on with the Landsat mission at SSAI. Allie, I'm going to start off with you. Would you mind kicking us off?
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to. Yeah, I have a background in GIS. I have my both my bachelor's and my master's from the University of Maryland, College Park. Very exciting to have that. Now officially a TERP alum. Using my background in GIS, I actually wear a lot of hats on our Landsat Outreach team. I started off doing processing and compositing of Landsat images of areas all over the globe, and I slowly transitioned into doing more things like helping support various outreach events and public events, scientific conferences across the country, like AGU in December every year, doing a lot more design work with our outreach materials and our print products, things that we also have on our website. I help maintain our website. And I've also been helping recently create our monthly Landsat newsletter with our team, which has been really cool to revive that. More recently, however, I've been leading our Landsat social media presence, as well as coordinating with other NASA accounts on engaging content.
Wow, that is absolutely incredible, Allie. You mentioned quite a bit of roles and quite a bit of hats that you wear. So
Yeah.
that is absolutely incredible. And one quick thing I just wanted to mention, you said that for your school, you were the Terps. I haven't heard of that for the University of Maryland. What exactly is the Terps?
Oh, yeah. It's the UMD it's the Maryland terrapins. So terrapin is a type of turtle. So we are the terrapins. Yep. So I'm officially a full-fledged terp.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great mascot name. So I was just very curious about that. So
yeah, his name is Testudo.
Testudo. Oh,
Testudo.
Very nice.
Yep.
Did everybody vote on that name, or who came up with that?
Oh, I have no idea. It's probably been around for so long. They have these statues of Testudo all over campus, and they say that if you rub his nose, you get good luck on finals and things like that. People will make offerings to him every semester before finals, just putting random items by him to get good luck on tests.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, for those of you viewers who are listening, if you want to attend this school that Allie was just mentioning, don't forget to rub the turtle's nose, for good luck. Yeah, everybody needs good luck for finals or midterms. So, but that's awesome, Allie. Thank you so much for sharing about your work at SSAI with the Landsat mission. Ross, I'm going to transition over to you. Can you tell the audience about yourself and what projects you have worked on with the Landsat mission at SSAI?
Yeah, sure. So I graduated from Virginia Tech with a Bachelor of Fine Arts. My major was called Creative Technology. So I did pretty much everything from game design to 3D animation, and happy enough to find a place that I can continue working on those types of projects. So for the Landsat Outreach team, I do a lot of interactive design, kind of like the project we're talking about today, Your Name in Landsat. That's the newest one that I've been working on, but I've had a few others I've done in the past. We released something called the band comparison tool not that long ago, as well as the Stella Data Viewer, which is a project I work on for a little while. And then I also work on social media with Allie. I do a lot of video work, mostly specializing in short form video, making like informative things to share, particularly on like NASA Earth and some of the social media accounts. And then I also do a lot of 3D animation work. So this background behind me is like a render I've created, and make a lot of flyover animations and different 3D models of particularly Landsat 1 through 3 is something I modeled and made up. It's been really fun. And then also do some image processing. Me and Allie were working on a Netflix documentary not that long ago, doing some changeover time sequences. So hopefully that'll come out in about a year or so. But yeah, wear a lot of different hats, and I'm always trying to find new ways that we can do outreach, particularly like with augmented reality is something that we're trying to do here soon. Have been experimenting with, and really anything that I can incorporate art in my computer in is what I like to do. So
Wow, that is absolutely fantastic, Ross. And first of all, I love your background. You did a wonderful job designing that,
thank you.
and that's great to hear about the Netflix documentary as well. That'll potentially come out in the future. Do you know like how long that's going to be, or is that still kind of in the working phase right now?
Yeah, I think they're still in the working phase right now. We talked to them about a month or two ago, but I want to say I think they were targeting early 2025, something like that. So I'm not sure how the whole Netflix process works, but eventually you'll be able to open up Netflix and see some of the work that we did. So that'll be really cool.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we'll definitely have to have a follow-up conversation with that Netflix documentary. So please definitely, keep us informed with that. That's absolutely incredible. So, Ross, I really appreciate you sharing about yourself and your work that you have done with the Landsat mission at SSAI. Ginger, I'm going to transition on to you next. Can you tell the audience about yourself and describe your projects you have worked on with the Landsat mission at SSAI?
Sure. I worked with the Landsat. I came on board in 2023, but I've been with NASA for 27 years, since 1997. And I actually was a subcontractor to SSAI when I first started back then. And my job has been really to create unique and interactive outreach experiences and educational experiences. So with one of the first projects that I did when I was hired in 97 was to develop one of NASA's first educational web interactives, Echo the Bat, which was awarded one of the top educational products. And back then, 1997, high-end JavaScript, HTML, non-persistent cookies, that whole bit. And went on to then create the Echo the Bat book, and did a lot more with Echo the Bat until I went to NASA headquarters and actually did another book on the electromagnetic spectrum and a series of videos about the electromagnetic spectrum. And then came back to Goddard and joined the actual Landsat team in 2013. Both Ross and Allie started out as interns, and I'm happy to say that I picked them out for the interns and helped mentor them, and now they are on our team, and it's been fantastic. Some of the favorite things that we've worked on was actually the products and activities gearing up for the launch of Landsat 9. And what we had done was 3 parts. There was 9 weeks of Camp Landsat, which was a virtual online summer camp with online activities and videos, a lot of that Ross had created, a lot of story maps and content and images that Allie created. And we pulled all this together for 9 weeks, which was a lot of work. Then we went to launch and we did another 11 events at the local events in Lompoc, California, which is the town next to Vandenberg Space Force Base, where Landsat 9 launched in September 2021. We had a mural painted. We did activities at the library. We have a collage activity that's really fun to do. We did activities at the local aquatic park. We had all kinds of fun that week. Then we came home we actually, while we were still in Lompoc, we actually started a geocache tour. And I don't know if anyone knows about geocaching, but we created a geo tour that was sponsored by the tourism board there in Lompoc. And I'm still getting emails today, 3 years later, that people are enjoying and finding our geocaches. So it was a lot of fun preparing for activities that went on before, during, and now still getting some interaction after launch. But one of the things before launch, and we were kind of figuring out, well, where did this idea for your name in Landsat come about? And I looked back and I found the email from March of 2021 where I think Allie and I were thinking about putting this together. And we say, hey, what about if you type your name in and it would spit out this graphic? And the email was to Ross and say, hey, Ross, is this possible? Can you do that? And we didn't get to do it back then because we had so many other things going on. But now with I believe it was Google Doodle that came out Earth Day of 2024, they had basically those letters from, Earth features. So we revived the idea, and now this is where we are.
Wow, that is just absolutely fantastic. And Ginger, you brought up something that I remember doing during a summer experience, and that was geocaching. So I remember at first I didn't know what that was, and I remember doing it during a summer experience I previously had before the COVID-19 pandemic hit. So, and it was a great experience, but it was very hot. I think it was during the summer in July, and it was like 100 degrees, but I very much enjoyed that. So, and in terms of the virtual course that you also mentioned, is there a link that you could provide for our audience to be able to see it?
Absolutely. That's the Camp Landsat and our Camp Landsat 2024, which we did just 1 week. We're not shooting for the stars this month, but your name in Landsat is the interactive component activity that goes with camp. When you go to summer camp, you want to make your name tag. There's always that part of summer camp we get to do crafts. So this is kind of our crafty name tag part of summer camp.
Oh, that's fantastic. And that's awesome. So yeah, for those of you viewers and listeners who are currently listening to this episode now, we definitely will be providing some links in the video description for you to check out. So please definitely check out each of these links. They are super, super cool. And, if you run a summer camp, let's say, then this is definitely something cool that you can implement. And this will be a great experience that your camp staff and your campers will never forget. So thank you to all of you for introducing yourself and describing the projects that you all have worked on with the Landsat mission at SSAI. It's truly, truly incredible. I'm just super excited about all of these great projects that you all have worked on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask each of you some individual questions just in relation to the new Landsat web app that was recently released. And Ross, I'm going to start off with you by asking you this question. You mentioned about your role in creating graphics, animations, and then also interactive experiences as a part of your role for the Landsat communications team. My question is, how did you approach the design and the development of the new web app?
Sure. Yeah. I guess my goal when developing this app was I wanted to keep it very simple and straightforward. I think the beauty of this project and even the idea of the project is that it's in the name. It's your name in Landsat. And the nice thing about it is you get to the page, you type your name in, and then within a few seconds you get an output, which I think has really paid a lot to its success of just being something really quick and accessible. So I didn't really want to get in the way of that, of like adding too much text or too much filler that would kind of distract the user from the base of what we wanted them to do, which was just look at beautiful Landsat imagery, essentially. So it kind of started with just developing a project in JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, the three classics. And thankfully it was pretty simple. It was bringing some images in. We grabbed some images from Earth Observatory that had already existed. They have a great gallery of ABCs that they had made previously, but not all of them were Landsat imagery, and we wanted all of them to be related to our satellite. So Most of the work of this project was going on places like Worldview and Sentinel Hub, which are places where you can view satellite imagery on a map. And most of the time, it was just trying to find features on Earth that resembled letters. So it was a lot of times it was picking a continent and scrolling through it on one date and seeing if anything resembled like a G or an F or something like that. So that primarily took, I would say, the most time out of this project. And then also we have metadata for every image too. So it was kind of like giving some context to each of the imagery. And some of them, like I mentioned, are linked to the Earth Observatory. So if you highlight an image, you can click its name and it would take you to a story. And so if you wanted to learn more about that image, you can just click on it. And also there were coordinates. So if they wanted to know where the exact location, like on Google Maps was, that's included as well. So it was really great putting this project together because it wasn't too much of a headache as far as the programming side goes. And yeah, I think just a few other things, like I try to keep the letters consistent. So I used like a text font to basically write out all the letters and align the satellite imagery to them because they can be varying sizes. So if you had an A that was too small, it'd be hard to read. And I would say some of the images that I personally picked out are not as legible as others. So it was nice to keep some consistency throughout the project. But yeah, and in the future, I think we'd like to continue adding imagery and even the possibility of opening it up to other satellites so we could just have more eyes on interesting places around our own planet.
Wow, that's absolutely fantastic, Ross. And this is definitely very creative from what I've been hearing. You've really been able to use your creativity and your imagination, which is wonderful. And just as a side question, you mentioned about using particular fonts. What were some of the common fonts that you used? Was it just like one, or was it multiple, or what did you notice?
It was really just one font. I mean, I guess you can't really we couldn't be too picky, I guess, when it came to what the satellite images resembled, because you kind of get what you get with like a river that looks like an L or something different like that. But just using a basic font, it really, the idea was to just align the images so that they're all the same size, so they resemble like a normal text would. So it just reads a lot easier. So I probably used like Arial or one of the basic fonts in Photoshop.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. So I really appreciate your clarification and update, and in terms of you highlighting your experience in terms of using your creativity for this tool. That's absolutely fantastic. So, Ali, I'm actually going to transition to you as well with this question. As the Landsat social communications lead, what creative strategies did you use to make it engaging and accessible for a broad audience? And have you shared this web app in person at conferences or events?
Yeah, so I think after we had kind of finalized and Ross had worked on finishing up the development, we knew that we had something really cool on our hands. And I had been like casually mentioning your name in Landsat at various social media meetings, while the development was still going on. And everyone that I brought it up to was so excited. I kept getting questions like, when is this going live? How can we help promote this? We want to help share this. We were so excited about this. Please keep us updated. So, like I said, we knew we had something great. It was just a matter of figuring out the best way and the best channels for getting this out into the public, because with our social media, with our Twitter and Facebook, we are kind of restricted to our followers and the people that already know about Landsat and they're more familiar with the mission. But when we partner and have amplification from NASA Earth and NASA Climate and NASA Flagship, we really just completely explode the amount of views we get. by a magnitude of like 100. So I had reached out to the NASA flagship social media leads and I said, hey, this is what we're working with. This is the link. Here's some information about it. And we had kind of gone back and forth a little bit. And they were so excited to share this. And they ended up sharing it on the NASA flagship Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Reddit. And it garnered over 1 million views across social media. I think we had over 20 different official NASA accounts interact with us, including Hubble and the Curiosity rover, JPL. Just the amount of love that this app got was just so mind-blowing to me, because we put so much work. We know when you put so much work and effort into a project, it's really rewarding to see how many people appreciate it and are engaging with it. And that's something we're always looking to do on social media, is increase our engagement, not only with our followers, but with people that don't even know that NASA does Earth science to begin with. So that was very, very exciting. And we are going to continue to do collaborations with them on this app as we move forward and see what we can do. And then in terms of doing this in person, we were really thinking of ways to make this engaging for an in-person conference or public event. So I ended up beta testing it at the Geological Society of America conference in Anaheim, California. Basically, I used a little baby Canon selfie dye sublimation printer that prints CMYK in layers for over 400 names at GSA. So there were over 400 people that came up, different attendees that wanted their name in Landsat. Yep, Ginger has an example of it. Yep. And they got their own personalized little 4x6 print that they can take and put into a frame and put on their walls. The amount of people that just were over the moon with this little personalized takeaway was phenomenal. I was so excited. And I even had a couple people ask me if I could do this at their wedding, just print these like little place cards for them. But it really just goes to show how much people care about the diversity of Earth's surface, and just giving us another way of being able to communicate, how we look and study the surface of the Earth using Landsat satellites. So it was just a really rewarding experience, and we're going to continue to do this in-person printing at future conferences, which is really exciting.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. And again, since you mentioned, Allie, that so many people were just interested in this, that just shows that you helped them to get them curious, and you inspired them. And it's very motivating, like you said, to see that so many people that you have spoken to are interested in an app like this. And, I remember I typed in, my name as well, and I just saw the downloaded version, and I'm like, wow, this is so cool.
Yeah, it's been really awesome. And I just wanted to mention, we have over 600,000 views on our webpage for this app, and over 2 million clicks, downloads, people clicking on links, things like that. So it's been so far reaching, and that's all we could have hoped for.
Absolutely. Well, again, congratulations on that, wonderful accomplishment. And, we are super excited to see the continued growth that comes with it. So I really appreciate you, Allie, going into depth in relation to the creative strategies that you implemented with this web app. So it's just so cool. And Ginger, I'm actually going to transition over to you and ask you this final question. As the Landsat Communications and Public Engagement Lead, you mentioned a little bit of the development of the web app and when it started. Can you share how the recent launch of the new interactive tool enhances the way people engage with and understand Landsat data? And in addition to that, what impact do you hope this web app will have on both scientists and the public?
Well, thank you for that question. What was wonderful about putting this out on social media, as Allie was talking about, we actually got picked up and had a story written by Marshall Shepard in Forbes. Marshall used to work at Earth Sciences at Goddard, And it was really great for him to bring that up. And he brought it up in the context of it's the start of the sporting season. Everybody wants the football season. They want to do their, the Terps or the Go Dogs, and he was typing in those names, not just his name. So I think it offers a personal connection. Everybody wants something that relates to them, whether it's, can I see my house from space, or I want my name written in this. So you make that personal connection, and then that can build intrigue to understand more about the mission and to understand more about Earth science in general. So for example, if you click on one of the U letters, it takes you to Canyonlands with one of the Oxbow lakes. And there's a story on the Earth Observatory about how oxbows are formed, about the geography and the geology of the region. So it really pulls people in to learn a little bit more, not just about what the feature looks like, but what's going on. We can talk about agriculture. We can talk about how we can help land managers to better understand the uses of the natural resources that we have. So there's a lot of benefits to society that Landsat has offered. And what I like to say about our outreach is we like to make science tangible. And we bring it to people, they can really interact with it and get their hands on it, and then take that inspiration and go and learn more about not just our missions, but about Earth science and how NASA is able to help the society and overall.
Yeah, Ginger, you brought up an excellent point in terms of, making science, accessible in relation to this web app. And, it's very key today in this society. 50 to 60 or, even 70 years ago when my parents were in school, traditionally you learned through a textbook, and you learned straight from rote memorization. And because of all the technological advancements that we've had in our society today, that method doesn't work anymore. You need to encourage, hands-on learning, and you want to continue to develop curiosity, inspiration, and innovation. And it's clear that you three have done that in relation to this web app. And there's going to be so many more questions that are going to come with that, and so many more advancements that, myself, including everyone at SSAI, is going to be super, super excited to see. And with that, Ginger, Allie, and Ross, again, I just wanted to thank you all so much for taking time out of your very busy schedules to talk with me today. You three are truly rock stars who are really making an impact and a difference globally. And everybody is going to be very fascinated by the continued great work in regards to this new web app that's out. So please definitely keep us informed in relation to the continued advancements and the continued work with this. And we can't wait to highlight it, even potentially at weddings, as Allie said, if need be.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank
you,
you
Jason.
so much, Jason.